Hey guys! So today you and I are going to talk about hiring people over 30. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, hi Frederick, I read that Keith Rabois claims that the most important lesson he learned from Peter Thiel is that you can't hire anybody over 30. Does this suggest that a junior developer can replace an older, more senior developer? Nope, I would say so. Like if I've no idea who Peter Thiel is or like whatever these guys are. If they're venture capitalists, I suspect that they have about as much understanding of practical engineering and development and like so forth and so forth as like like someone who's completely ignorant whatsoever. Never ever 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 knew a venture capitalist, and I include Elon Musk in that, who could show me very clearly and definitively that they have a good grasp of the mechanics or the practicalities of what it means to build things and to actually create things and so forth and so forth. Venture capitalists are usually not the sort of people who are on the ground doing the actual work. I'm not saying that Musk hasn't done that, for example, or other capitalists. Like, there's certainly exceptions to that rule, but I suspect that this has less to do with the practicalities, because I think that what they're saying, like in my interpretation of it, may or may not be correct. I'll try to put my thoughts on what I think that this means, but my suspicion is that you have. I'm not saying that you're misquoting them. I'm saying that I'm not sure if you understand what they're saying, or it might be that I don't understand. But let's see. So what I argue is that what's being said, like you can't hire anybody over 30. Now, if you think about the sort of people who usually do the hiring and so forth, when we talk about people in any industry whatsoever, so what they're usually looking for are, of course, competent, hardworking, innovative people. Every single employer in the whole like everywhere is looking for those sorts of things, right? Now, every single person who's ever hired anybody or had a coworker or so forth, I'm not sure if you have ever reflected on it all that much, but I have seen quite a lot of software developers that exhibit the same sort of thing that I think that they are referring to here, and that is that there are different stages in your career and there are different stages of your life, and on average people behave differently at various stages. So, and a classic example is this idea of having young, innovative talent or new blood and so forth in the startup world. The reason why this is very popular and that there is a slight ageism is because the idea is that young people come and challenge established dogma, and like they come with these disruptants and innovative ideas, and they're hungry and they're passionate, all that good stuff, right? Now, that is, if you're going to be an ageist about it, the sort of thing that most people would say about young people in their 20s or so forth. They're fresh, they're hungry, they want to do things, and they're like looking to prove themselves and so forth and so forth, which are extremely good traits in many situations, and it's extremely nice and refreshing to deal with individuals like that in some situations, not all, but in some. But when you're getting into your 30s or 40s or so forth, this is the range for most people, at the very least, where you start to establish yourself a little bit as a professional, or you have a career. It's very common that you have a family. You might even start getting kids. Like, you become more of a like a standard grown up, an adult. And for those people, it is not necessarily the case. But then again, that's the thing that I'm telling you here. I think that this is the general idea that they're going for, but I argue that it's not necessarily true. I've seen people who are in their 40s and their 50s who are more like hungry and like really push it than people who are in their 20s. And I've seen 20-year-olds who couldn't give a fuck really about anything and so forth, like because like these are generalizations. And so when you get to this age range, it's, as I said, it's a little bit more common that you settle down. You may not be pushing it as much. You may not be out to prove yourself as much, and so forth and so forth. You become a little bit more mature, lazy, call it whatever you want. I'm here, so like I'm gonna be 40 in a few years, so like I'm definitely here. But I hope that if you take a look at if you look at like the fact that I have this little channel and that I do like consulting and pro bono work and so forth just because of the heck of it, and if you consider that my career has sort of gone fairly very sharply upwards very quickly, even though I passed 20, I could 30 like many years ago. I hope that you can sort of get what I'm saying is that I definitely have a lot of coworkers whose primary focus is not to do a lot of tech stuff or personal projects and stuff like that. They are focused on their kids. They're focused on their spouses and like whatever, right? They have a lot of stuff going on that takes it ships away time from them, which does not, of course, like fit very well if you are a venture capitalist or someone who's looking to hire someone who's really going to push it and really give that extra drop of blood for the company or for like the next thing and so forth and so forth. And I think that is what they're going for. Like that's the thing that they're saying, because when, as I said, if you hire someone, I mean, take like a classical and one that I hear all the time is that you shouldn't hire, like people don't like to hire people in their 40s or their 50s and stuff like that. And I can tell you, basically promise you, that for the average gigantic corporation, if you wanted to be the head honcho, like a CEO or CTO or something like that for one of the biggest companies in the world, I'm wondering if you're going to see a lot of 21-year-olds in that sort of job. So when these guys are saying that you never hire anybody over 30, I would love to see like what's the average age of their the people working on their boards of directors. I'm pretty sure it's not under 30. So what I want you to take away from this is that no, a junior developer does not replace a senior developer, because what I'm arguing is that this quote, not hire anybody over 30, has nothing to do with skills. It has to do with your attitude towards life and your work. People who are usually on the younger spectrum, junior developers, if we take it directly back to us here in software development, they are usually very nervous, very eager to learn or things like that, because they haven't done enough living. They haven't settled in and matured as an individual or as a professional, which means that they have a lot of stuff to prove, which can be super annoying if you've met a lot of philosophers, which I have, where they question absolutely everything. And as I said, disruption is good. If you have a startup idea and so forth, then you should absolutely disrupt. But sometimes you're not right, even though you're young and hungry and innovative and stuff like that. You're basically just messing things up, right? That's the role of an old fart like myself, or the senior developers. We're supposed to say no to everything, so that you have to show us why it's better, or like get us fired or stuff like that, and come with your cool new idea and prove that we're wrong and stuff like that. And so that's the thing that I think you're misunderstanding. I think that you're misunderstanding the fact that like junior does not mean better. And as in my example there with running a whole full-fledged company, a lot of people would probably be very happy to hire a 20-year-old something with a lot of cool ideas and a lot of proven track records with good ideas for a junior position or a slightly above junior position, something that can stir up things in their organization. If their organization is made up of 30, 40, 50 years something, who couldn't give a fuck about anything besides going home to whatever they're doing at home, right? That's exactly the sort of situation you might want to follow this sort of rule. But it's probably not a good idea for you to hire your most experienced people and get a bunch of college graduates to run your company, or to have a bunch of junior developers set the architecture for your entire infrastructure, because I'm pretty sure that they're going to have a hard time just figuring out how to use Git. Have a great day.